Q&A with me. So I posted to Instagram and TikTok and put an anonymous app up. So the messages are anonymous. We can't see who put them up, but I asked for everyone to put up any questions they want or anything that they wanted to say. So we're gonna read through them together and answer them together as well. But the main asked question, which is, how did you and Ethan meet? We met through Connor, Ethan's cousin. I knew him because I worked at McDonald's with him, and he was just fresh up here from Sydney. And he had transferred from Macca's in Sydney, I think, to Macca's in Rocky. And we were close as friends. And then we all went to KFC Northside to hang out one time. And Connor said, I've got to quickly go grab my cousin and give him a lift home. So then he's like, are you guys all gonna wait around? And we're like, yep, sure. And then we waited, and I remember Connor pulled up and Ethan got out of the car, and I said something along the lines of, Connor, you didn't tell me you had a hot cousin.
Yeah.
And that's where it started. Where are we from? So wait your turn, motherfucker.
I'm from Penrith, New South Wales.
I was raised in Rockhampton. Sydney, Eshe, Bala.
I never said that.
How was your childhood and what was it like growing up? Very strict. I grew up in a pretty strict household. And my parents would probably say we had it really easy, but they're lying. We literally... What? I did. I think the rules more applied to us girls rather than my brother. Growing up as kids, we got like hit if we did bad stuff. Like we never got away with anything. If we misbehaved in public, we knew about it and we were called out for it. There was no getting away with it. We literally weren't even allowed our phones turned on while we were travelling to Brisbane. Because
I wasn't
Dad...
allowed a phone until I was in year 7.
I had a phone, but that was purely because I caught the bus by myself from the age of like 6. So me and my brother, I always had a phone, but it literally only had 2 gigabytes of data on it and per month. And if I like went over it at all, I would have to just not have data.
Yeah, that was the same.
I would just not have data. Mum wouldn't even chuck extra on. I think there was one time she chucked extra on and then she gave me like a 45-minute lecture / yelling at for going over 2 gigabytes of data.
It wasn't bad. I reckon I had it pretty good. My parents were really strict, but
yeah,
I feel like I don't know. You know, my parents were strict, but I feel like I had a good childhood.
I think we both did. I think our parents were pretty strict, but we didn't miss out.
No.
If that makes sense. Like we still got everything in life.
Yeah, 100%.
We just had rules.
I'm glad my parents were strict.
Yeah. Like when I was in grade 12, Dad, I know you're gonna watch this. Don't even lie because this is literally true. I was in grade 12, I had to be home by 6 p.m. As a 17-year-old, peas, everything, I had to be home by 6 p.m. And even there was a lot of times where I was late and I literally got yelled at every single time. Where were you?
I'm just gonna scooch in right here if you don't mind.
Families in it. How many kids do we each want? Ethan's pretty set on 2. I don't know, in another life, I would love a big family. In another life, I would have 4. I'm happy with Oakland as it is. I'd be happy to have another one, but I'm also happy if we don't. Like, I don't know, it comes down to when she's older, we wouldn't want her to be alone as she's growing up, because we both weren't alone growing up. There's also 2 questions. So it's, what were your top 3 baby names? P.S. Love your videos. Thank you. And if we didn't name Oakland, what was her name gonna be? And then there was one more, and it was, did we have any boy names picked? We came about Oakland's name because I love the name Oakley, and I really wanted, if we had a boy, we would have named him Oakley. Ethan actually picked Oakland's name.
It came up on TikTok. And I'd never seen it before. So I thought it was a unique name. It was different. something that you don't hear every day.
But I have also always loved the name Braxton. And Ethan doesn't like Braxton. The question was, what were we going to name Oakland if her name wasn't Oakland? If we didn't name Oakland, her name was going to be, I really wanted Kalani. And it would have been something along the lines of Kalani Louise Sharp or Kalani Lee or something like that. So I really wanted Kalani, but because I really liked Oakley, we settled for Oakland. How did you guys come back together if you split up beforehand? We dated in 2022. I can't even remember when. I could not tell you when. All I know is in 2022. And I think we dated for 3 or 4 months. We were talking for a long time before we got together. And then we dated for 3 or 4 months. We went separate ways. And I just didn't stop pestering Ethan.
Pretty much.
I just missed him so much. I just knew that Ethan was my one, whether or not we got back together or not. Ethan was living in Gladstone at the time in 2024. We'd been talking since, not talking, but we started communicating as friends in December. The first time we dated, Ethan was in Rocky, and then he got a better job opportunity and moved to Gladstone with his family because his family were living in Gladstone. Ethan was in town for TAFE.
Yeah.
Ethan was in town for TAFE, and then somehow I ended up at where he was staying, and we were inseparable from then on.
Pretty much.
That's literally how it went. And then I think about 2 weeks into dating, Ethan was begging me to move in with him.
I was not begging you to move in.
Yes, I was getting text messages like, "Oh, you don't want to live with me."
No.
Yeah, that's
so forward.
yes. And then we moved in together, and then within 2 months of dating, I fell pregnant.
Yep.
And then, fast forward, we've been together for over a year now, and Bub's nearly 3 months. What was Ethan's first impression of you?
You were very loud. You were yelling at everyone. But I thought you were pretty, I'm not gonna lie. I tried to get your Snapchat for so long, but it was the wrong account that I got given. So I was never able to talk to you.
It's before I even met Ethan. I didn't know him. I literally did not know him. I was stalking him on Facebook, and he was in a relationship. I was like, oh, okay, whatever then. And then when Connor pulled up, I remember saying, "Oh, isn't that the one in a relationship?" And Connor looked at you.
Yeah, and I was like, no.
Yeah, because they had just broken up, and I was like, what a freaking coincidence. What was my first impression of Ethan? I was like, damn, that motherfucker's hot as shit. I thought Ethan was the sexiest thing that walked the earth. Do I have anyone blocked on Instagram?
That's a random question.
That is a really random question. I'm literally, what the hell? I do. I have many people blocked on Instagram. I think as soon as I left school, I kind of blocked nearly everyone that I didn't really get along with. I think everyone has people blocked on Instagram.
Off the top of my head, I'd say I do. I wouldn't know who.
How old are we? I am freshly 19. I just turned 19.
About to turn 21.
He's about to turn 21. So I think, well, we're 2 years apart, but realistically we're a year and something months apart. Do we want more babies in the future? If so, how many? That kind of goes hand in hand with what we said before. I think we would consider it in a couple of years' time, just so Oakland has a sibling. We're also not that phased if we don't have another one. Main factor is for Oakland to have a sibling. Don't think we would try. I think if we accidentally fell pregnant, then we would go ahead with the pregnancy in a couple years' time, but I don't think we'll actually plan to have another one. How fast can you forget people?
Pretty fast.
See, I'm not like that though. I don't think you can fully ever forget someone, especially if they mean a lot to you.
It depends what they do to you.
I feel like you just learn to live without them. What's the hardest thing about being pregnant for both of us?
Hard question, but like there's a lot that played into it. The emotional support side of it, I reckon.
What do you mean?
Well, because like your hormones are going all over the place, so like trying to support you wasn't as easy as it usually would be.
I think the hardest thing being pregnant was accepting that my body is changing. And that sounds so cliche because I say it all the time, but honestly that's the hardest thing is like us girls have to sacrifice so much to bring a baby into the world. And I think that was the biggest thing. Can we get a tattoo tour and do you plan on getting any more?
Yes.
Do you want to tell them your plans?
I want to get my arm done. I'll finish my arm. I've
Like
started it.
your whole
but
sleeve?
Yeah.
I'll put a picture in. I'll put a
I've got
picture in the
those.
middle so you can see what he has his forearm here done, as well as the back of his right calf.
Yeah.
And then
I got behind my ear and
yeah,
sort of on my ankle.
he's got behind the ear because we got a matching tattoo behind our ears. That was my first ever tattoo. That's matching with my mum. So my mum got no matter where, I got no matter what. I got Ethan's initials after a month of us dating. I got 111 put there. Butterflies, breathe, trust the universe. On my rib here, I've got faith over fear.
Very cool.
Yeah, I got 444 behind my ear. So I don't even, is it this year? Yeah, it's how right it is. It's like there. Oh, that's for better, for worse, for life. My ankle, I've just got my birth flowers. I'm actually booked in 2 weeks' time to get the in-between of my butterflies filled. Originally I did want this to be a patchwork sleeve, but I've seen a couple on some people and they're nice, but I don't like them. If I had enough balls, I would love to get a leg sleeve, but my dad would like be so... Yeah, he would murder me because my dad hates tattoos. You are in such great shape after just having a baby. What are your secrets? Oh my God. I think staying active. I worked up until 5 days before I gave birth. We were walking every day. Once I gave birth, I think we gave it a couple days and then we were back walking again. Even just like going to the shops and like just walking around. What was the worst trouble you got in as a kid? I got caught sneaking out. Babe, I literally remember this, I shit myself. So what I did was, by the way, for mum and dad watching, I snuck out like 4 weekends in a row before I got caught. Like dead ass, I would sneak out every weekend. And I was so nervous. But the damn pugs, we have pugs in the backyard and they gave it away every single time. Because they'd sit at the fence, they'd follow me, and as soon as I jumped over the fence, Willow and Hugo would bark. And because I had like my mum and dad's house, to jump over the fence to dodge the security cameras, like you've got to jump over the fence right next to their room at the end of their house. And of course the dogs would go off at the end of the house near their room, which would wake them up. And then if they didn't stop barking, mum would go outside. Waited and I waited and I waited. And then as soon as I went to bed, I put dog food on the ground and those greedy little gremlins ate it all and still came barking. And I had gotten in the car, gotten picked up by my boyfriend at the time, and then driven literally onto the highway. And I got a text from mum saying, get your ass back home right now. Oh my God, I literally could have projectile vomited. I felt so sick in my gut. The whole time, like literally the 2-minute car ride back, I was like, please dad, don't be awake. Please dad, don't be awake. And then like I snuck back in. I snuck back over the fence, which I don't know why, because they fucking knew I was awake anyways. And then I remember like walking past, because we have windows in our lounge room and you can see like inside of them from the backyard. And I remember like looking in, like just slightly tilting my head in and seeing dad sitting in the kitchen. And I was like, fuck. But dad just absolutely revving me. And I got grounded for so long and dad smashed my phone. That shit still replays in my head every single day.
This is when I threw one of my toys through, like, we had like a big glass window.
Yeah.
And I cracked the shits and I launched it through the window. And it was like it was a decent sized window. I got in lots of trouble for that.
I got one more. When I was younger, I used to have anger issues.
You still do.
Like, just stuff Braith would do would piss me off. We were on school holidays, we were staying at home because, like, Mum still worked on school holidays, so we had to stay at home by ourselves. And he was screaming at me to watch TV or something, so I threw it and it freaking bounced off the carpet and shattered Dad's TV. We told the truth and then they bought a new TV, but we still got in so much trouble. And I think I got grounded for like freaking 4 weeks for that. What is our goals for the rest of the year?
Just to save as much money as possible.
We're gonna get on the saving grind because we want to buy a house in the next 3 years. I'd say we try to buy a house in the next 3 years. What is our biggest regret?
I don't really have any regrets.
Do you guys fight a lot? Don't fight. We will have arguments on the odd occasion because Ethan always thinks he's right and he's not. I think that's probably because we have very good communication. If one has a problem, it's pretty bloody obvious because we can read each other like a book.
Yeah.
So we literally is like, what's wrong? Like, we talk it out before it even makes itself into an argument. Did you both make plans for the future before we fell pregnant?
Not really.
I
I
think-
kind of just lived day by day.
Yeah.
Took it as it went.
I think buying a house was...
It's probably
But
like the only thing
That's
I
the
had,
only
yeah.
thing we really, really wanted. Even before we fell pregnant, we really wanted to buy a house. You seem off sometimes. What is up with that? I don't know if it's probably in my videos, but we are tired. We are bloody tired.
Flat out.
Yeah, we're so busy, and that's probably what it is. It's probably just some days when we've had such good sleep, or when I've had such good sleep and I film a video, you can tell I'm energetic, I'm happy, I'm ready to go and bouncing off the walls. Some days, like, it is actually a push to be able to talk to the camera because I'm so tired and exhausted. Is it hard on your relationship now that you guys are pregnant? Yes.
I hope not.
Is it hard on your relationship now that you guys are parents? We were talking about this question earlier in the car and Ethan said no, it's not. And I said it can be. It 110% can be, especially when one hasn't had enough sleep and one's lacking communication to each other. Like, and then it can just come across and then you take it out on each other because you're so angry and tired. Going from just the 2 of us to 3 of us is definitely hard, and it's such a big change because we no longer have that time with just the 2 of us. It's always the 3 of us now. It can be hard at times. I think it can be hard because I find it quite challenging at times on our relationship.
I don't think it's necessarily like hard on a relationship. I think it's just like it's a big difference, so we're adjusting. So I wouldn't really say it's hard. It's just we've got to adjust to the new curriculum, like the new routines and all that sort of stuff.
Do you have any wedding dresses / venues that you would like in mind? I haven't gone wedding dress shopping, and that again won't be for a long time. I haven't looked at any wedding dresses. I've seen other people try wedding dresses on and I've like thought, wow, that's stunning, like that looks amazing. So I definitely keep my eye out on what type of wedding dress I want. But again, with the venues, I've been looking just to see what's around. But in Rocky and Yeppoon, there's not really much at all. So you don't really have much of much to choose from. Before the baby was born, how many children did you guys want, and has that number changed now after experiencing parenthood? I need 2 or 3. I'm happy with just Oakland. And I think every first parent says that, but like I'm happy if we have another one, but I'm also okay if it's just Oakland. Was having kids young always the plan?
Absolutely not.
For me, yeah. I wouldn't say this young, but I always said that I wanted to get them over and done, like over and dusted young. so that when, like, you know, because I didn't want to be 30 having my first kid. It kind of runs genetically in my family. Like, my dad had my sister young. My sister fell pregnant at 18. I fell pregnant at 18. My cousin fell pregnant at 18. My auntie fell pregnant at 17, I think. It just runs. Like, it doesn't run in the family, but I think it's just, what's the word? Just happens. My sister, for example, she's 23 with 3 kids and she's married. So, like, always said to Ethan, we're gonna have our kids young, and he's like, no. No, we're not having kids young.
Yeah, that's true.
And then little Miss came along. Thoughts on a baby number 2, and do you think you would experience gender disappointment the second time around?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. I think I personally, like, obviously we just do want a healthy baby. So when it comes down to it, gender isn't the main factor, but obviously everyone has a preference. We did want a boy as our first, just because I think it's just a stereotypical, the brother protects the sister.
Yeah.
I think we just wanted that. I think we wanted a boy to protect Oakland, like, when she went through school and all that, but I think if we didn't have a boy the second time around, I think we'd be pretty upset. What is 3 things that have changed in your everyday life after having a baby? Can be good or bad or both.
The routine, not getting any sleep.
I think having no time to yourself, the different routines now, and yeah, I'd probably say the sleep. What was the worst part of my labour? The contractions. Your favourite colour to wear? Black. I love wearing black. I've literally said that so many times in my TikTok. All I wear is black. How did you both react when you found out you were pregnant? I woke up that morning feeling sick as, and I had pregnancy tests because I had tested 3 weeks before and it was negative.
So I joked about you being pregnant.
Yeah.
So you took a test.
So I took a test and it was negative, and I felt so sick. And I was like, you know what, for shits and gigs, I'm just going to take a test. So I took one, and immediately it came back 2 lines. And I was like, fuck. And I was literally shaking. I remember just sitting there shaking on the toilet, what the fuck? I almost didn't believe my eyes. I thought I was dreaming. I just thought it never happened to me. And I thought about it. I was like, should I surprise Ethan and get his reaction on camera so we can forever look at it? And then I was like, no, because it's going to be a fucking shit reaction. So I just called him, and I remember saying to him, Ethan, I need to talk to you. Do you have time? And he's like, yeah, be quick. And I was like, oh, I just took a pregnancy test, and I'm pregnant. And Ethan, I shit you not, the line was silent for 2 minutes. He did not talk for 2 minutes. And then I was like, are you okay? One thing I remember is how awkward the house was. It was almost like you're talking to Ethan but nobody's home. And it was really hard for me to deal with because although I had just found out too, I wanted Ethan's support and Ethan just wasn't there. So it was pretty hard for me too because I was trying to navigate what I wanted to do with Ethan's thought there, but I could just barely talk to Ethan because he'd just shut down. But yeah, a lot of repetitive questions in here, so I hope that I don't mean to be rude by not answering every single individual question, but I'm trying to answer them together as I go along. Do you and your partner do 50-50 with feedings and nappy changes at night?
It's kind of whoever just wakes up.
Yeah, it's basically whoever gets up to her. Majority of the times we've been swapping where we sleep.
Yeah.
So we swap sides, because the bassinet stays on one side of the bed. So Like, I think we've swapped positions like 4 times in the bed. Like, we just keep swapping, and whoever's closer to her and hears her and wakes up, they do the night run. But normally, if Ethan gets up to her and I hear her crying, because she often cries when she gets her bum changed while she's hungry, I'll get up and then feed her the bottle while Ethan's changing her. What is your best advice for the pregnancy in the 3rd trimester? That would be to take your raspberry leaf tea tablets, because they were a Lord Saviour and they stopped me from ripping open.
Stay active.
And stay active. Now we're going off the Instagram ones. What is Ethan's favourite product to use on his face?
As dirty as it sounds, I don't really wash my face.
Yeah.
I kind of just wipe my face with like the witch hazel wipes that I've got, and then I have a shower.
So I don't know if you know, but there's little like cotton pads. They come in like containers from witch hazel, and he uses them. I think they help with acne as well, which your skin has cleared up immensely. How did I cope with postpartum, if you don't mind me asking?
You didn't.
I didn't really. I didn't. It was really, really hard.
Those 2 weeks were alright. I think it was when we come home and like reality set in.
Yeah, when we came home and like I wasn't having mum come around like helping with like meals anymore.
And I went back to work.
And then Ethan went back to work, and then I just felt like I was stuck. Like I was just, all of a sudden I went from having all the help in the world to nothing. Majority of my days I just spent crying by myself. And there was a few phone calls I would call Ethan and be like, I can't do this. Because I was just so overwhelmed and overstimulated. I tried so hard to deal with postpartum the best I could, but some days you just can't. I'm 19 and I want to be pregnant young. How is your relationship now with your baby while young? It's hard. It's always going to be hard. You're never ever going to be ready for a baby, but it is so much harder when you were younger.
Your biggest thing was missing out on.
Yeah, that was my biggest thing. Because I felt pregnant.
Out with your friends and all that sort of stuff.
Because I felt pregnant 2 months after being 18, I had so much FOMO all the time. Can you please do daily vlogs? I love you so much. Both of us, not many people get to see Ethan because Ethan hides.
I hate being on the camera.
Ethan has like a deep fear of cameras.
No, I don't like it.
Yeah. No,
That's why
what?
You'll notice I don't really look at the camera when I talk.
Yeah, we know. The whole video you have not looked at the camera.
It's not because I don't want to, or it is, I don't want to.
To bring the vlogs back, but the thing is because I'm at work now, like when I come home, I work, come home, make content, go into mum mode again. That's just what it is. Definitely in the books. Definitely love to bring it back. But that is it. That is literally everything. There was a lot more questions, but I tried to just keep it short and just try and put them all together. We'll see you next time.
Toodles.
Bye.